Today we're diving into the cozy season with part 1 of a fall junk journal. I'll be guiding you through selecting and printing gorgeous fall digital designs, hand-picked complementary papers from my own stash for our signatures, and adding those personal touches that make each page uniquely our own style. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. So this is a design team project for the Digital Collage Club. And if you're new here, let me introduce you to this fantastic membership-based site shortly. It's packed with an extensive array of royalty-free digital craft supplies and tutorials. And by opting for either a yearly or lifetime membership, you'll instantly unlock a treasure trove of unique images and resources. Plus, new images are added every single week, so you'll always have fresh inspiration. And the best part, you can sell the crafts you create using these images. So there are 2 membership options. One is a 1-year membership, or there's also a lifetime membership. So with the lifetime option, a single payment grants you unlimited access to all images and tutorials forever. Check out the video description box below for discount codes on both membership types. And just so you know, using these links and codes gives me a commission, which greatly supports my small creative business as well. I truly appreciate if you sign up or have already signed up using my link. Thank you so much for considering the Digital Collage Club and for supporting my creative journey. So this is the paper I'm currently using to print on with my inkjet printer. It's a German brand called Schwarzwaldmühle. It's matte 130 GSM photo paper, and I get this from Amazon Germany. So I have my fantastic forest kit here, and I'm going to print the background papers back to back. So I checked there are 10 background pages. So I'll choose the first 5 journal page images. Then I go File, Print. Not all 18 pages, just the selected 5 pages. I want to print in color. I do not want double-sided because if I do that, it's going to print it the wrong direction. I don't scale anything here with media and quality. I'm going to change normal to best as always. I'm going to tell it to feed from my main tray because I have 2 trays. If you don't have that, obviously you're not even going to have that choice. And layout, I'm going to say here 2 pages per sheet. So now I see in the preview here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, my 5 pages on half the size, and I can say print. I always get asked which printer I have. I have an Epson ET5850, which as you can see is a large one. It has 2 paper trays and it has the eco tanks. I'm super happy with it. I've had it now for, I don't know, maybe 2 years. Most of you are not going to need a big model like this. I would say look into other EcoTank Epson printers. I think they are great. So my papers then come out like this. And what I then have to do, but you obviously need to check how it works with your printer. So they came out like this. And my printer prints on the bottom side of the paper. So all I do is I turn it around like this. So now the images are facing me. And I put them back in. Close the drawer. Select the other 5 pages that I have not printed yet. Do the same settings and hit print again. So when they're done, I have these double-sided. So next I can trim off all the white borders. I'll just do them all at once. It's just 3 sheets. So now I have these 5 adorable double pages. I think this kit is just so cute. There's still a little bit of a white border here. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to ink the edges anyway, but yeah, that's my perfectionism coming through. If I had 6 pages, I would make 3 signatures. So I would have 2 of these per signature, but since I only have 5, I think I'll make 5 signatures, and each signature will only have 1 of these. The other option is to have 3 signatures. 2 of them will have 2 of these, and then maybe the middle one will only have 1 page. Let's do that. Okay, so we have 3 signatures, and of course want to also add some papers from my own stash. So I chose a few. So here we have a book page. They don't have to be exactly the same size. I love using different languages if possible. There's an Edith Holden one. Oh, this says July. Maybe let's not do that one. This one. I'm not sure yet if I will cut these down or not. Maybe I should count. So I want, let's say, 2 of these per signature. So I need, for 3 signatures, 6 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just need 1 more. Let's do this green one. 6. And then I also want a smaller piece per signature. Oh, I also have this beautiful vintage envelope, which we could turn into, oh yes. Let's open the edges. That will make a beautiful page. So maybe we don't take this green one. Then I also want 1 smaller piece per signature, so that's 3. And lastly, I want each signature to also get a coffee dyed paper. You get these kind of designs by just sprinkling some granulated coffee, like this instant coffee, on top of your wet coffee dyed paper. And this one has the same, plus it has a little bit of stenciling. So before I fold all my papers for the signatures, I want to customize them a little bit more. So I'm going to add some wet media that coordinates with what is already on my prints. So these are the colors I've chosen: frayed burlap, fossilized amber, rusty hinge, fired brick, tarnished brass, and forest moss. I'm going to start with stenciling, but if you don't have any sprays, you can either also do your stenciling with distress inks or oxides and a makeup brush. Or you could also, of course, just stencil with acrylic paints with a stippling brush or a piece of foam, or however you usually would use your stencils. I'm choosing sprays because, first of all, it's very quick. But also, once I spray through my stencil, I then also have the spray on the stencil, which I can use as a reverse print, so I get 2 for 1. So I have newspaper laid out on the floor where I can then put these papers to dry. Okay, that did not really come out like I wanted it to. But that's all right. Let's try the reverse image, see if that works better. A lot of times I like this image a lot better. Yeah, it's a little bit better. And I'm actually going to blot this one more time because I don't want this to be as prominent as it currently is. Okay. That was not good. I should have covered this up. Oh. Okay, this is pretty cool. It's a bit much, I have the feeling. I feel like I'm losing too much of the original design, especially here. This is not good. This I'm actually quite happy with. I need to go lighter. Okay, I still have some spray here on my stencil, so let's try a little bit of that. That's better. And then I could add some water here to activate that again. And maybe add a little bit here as well. Yes, subtle is the answer. So let's do that again. There's still plenty of ink left here. Yeah, see, that's a lot more subtle. I really like that better. That's perfect. So I want to do the same for my other papers. I always want to keep my surface clean because I don't want to mess up my back sides. And now we can move on to the back sides. Again, I like this one a lot more than this one. This one doesn't really need something, but since I have some ink left here, let's use it. Then I also really love these Autumn Forest pages. There's 10 in total. These come in US letter format, which is not my regular format because I usually do A4, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to print these smaller. Look how gorgeous these are. Wow. Just amazing. So I'm thinking of having a double page in each signature. So I need 6 images in total. And this time I'm going to print only one-sided because I'm going to glue them back to back to make them a little more sturdy. And I want these a little bit smaller. I'll just choose 6 of them. Going to say File, Print. Going to change the pages from all to Selection in Preview. So now I see sheet 1 of 6. So I have my 6 here. Print in color, not double-sided. My paper size is A4, that's fine. And I'm going to say again, quality best. And layout, I'm going to say 4 pages per sheet. One image is smaller than a quarter of a page. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Yeah, and then we just hit print. So this is actually a perfect size. How gorgeous are these? Wow. So I'll just trim around all of these images. So once I have these all cut out, how gorgeous are these? I'm going to add some stamping. I'm going to use mostly, I think, this stamp set here. Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz, called Faded Type CMS 397, one of my favorite stamp sets. And I'm going to use some Distress Oxides in various fall colors. These are all colors I've also used with the sprays. This one I don't have as a spray, but I think it's a beautiful addition to this set. So we're going for a watercolor look. Let's start with this Aged Mahogany and this scripty stamp here. And once we've inked it up, we're just going to give it a light spritz, which means the image is not going to be as crisp. We can do 2 at once. Let's do some numbers. I am loving this color here. And then I also want to add some black stamping. I have this set of mushrooms. I think these came in one of the Your Creative Studio subscription boxes that I used to have. And some of these I'm going to emboss in gold. I want to take my embossing stamp pad, since this is a more intricate design rather than my dabber, which is more juicy. And I have recently learned that for more delicate images, they come out better using a stamp pad. And of course, we're doing this in gold. What better color for fall than gold? It's quite subtle. Let's do one more of these. Next, I'm going to ink up all the edges with Walnut Stain Distress Oxide. And lastly, obviously, these need some gold splatters. I like to use the Van Gogh watercolor in a tube. Has a number 803 and is called Deep Gold. I prefer using watercolor. This needs a little bit more water. Because it's less of a waste, because obviously I'm not going to use everything here. If this was acrylic paint, once it hardens, obviously I cannot resurrect it. But the watercolor I can by just adding more water. Plus, I really love this gold. Trying very hard not to go crazy with this. And I just realized also that I miscalculated the number of pages I need for what I wanted to do, but that's okay. I have another solution. So in my mind, I wanted to put 2 and 2 together and have 1 per signature. But putting 2 and 2 together means I only have 1 card, which is double-sided, right? So I have 1 per each signature, but I actually need 2 double-sided cards because I want to join them in the middle to add to the signature. So I would have needed 12, but that's totally fine, because what we can do is add 1 of these on one side, and on the other side, we could add 1 of our smaller cards that we have. That will make sense in a moment, in case it doesn't now. So these are all dry now. And they each have some customization on them. So what I mean is I always want 2 together. And then on the other side, I will add one of these and I will join them using fabric. And the fabric that I have chosen is a perfect one because if this is not fall, then I don't know what. It's by Tim Holtz from the Abandoned collection and it's called Writing Specimen. As always, you can find the German online store where I get all my fabrics from down below. So if you're in Europe, this is a great source. It's not an affiliate link or anything. It's just that I have come to know the owner, Romy, since a few years, and I just love her selection of fabrics. So I'm going to tear pieces of fabric that are always as tall as the smaller piece of ephemera that I'm joining. So for this one, it's going to be this one, and I like leaving a little bit of space for a little bit of wiggle room in between. So this width here is approximately what I want to have in between the two cards, which is 1.5 centimeters or a little more than ½ inch. And of course we need the fabric to overlap on each card so that we can glue it on. So maybe 1 centimeter or a little over 1/4 inch. So that means I can tear it here. And then I'll trim it down to the size of my card, which is the smaller piece of ephemera. And I like all of my edges to be frayed like this. So I need 2 of these pieces for each set of ephemera cards. So I have 2 which are the same size for this set. Then I'll put these 2 together and take this card. So again, I'll need 2 strips, this exactly the same as this one, since the cards have the same height. So this is the second set for these 2. And finally, we have our last card, and I don't really have another card left, but I have this piece, and I'm thinking that could actually be fun if we use it this way. We could also just tear it and use it like this, but I'd rather connect them like this, and then we can always fold this up in some fun way. So in this case, this piece is shorter than this, so our strip needs to be only as tall as this piece of ephemera. Okay, so we have these as well. I always enjoy the look of stitching, so I'm going to take these pieces to my sewing machine and stitch around each one individually. This step is totally optional, it's just decoration. And when you sew them, try not to do what I just did. I didn't realize there were 2 laying on top of each other, so they are now sewn together. Good job, Barbara. So I will take this out again. This is actually not so bad. Okay, we are good to go, yes. Okay, I have all of them stitched. I just think it adds so much character. These go here, these go here, and the smaller ones go here. Has this ever happened to you with your art glitter glue? I had the pin in and I wanted to take it out and the head came off. What? That has never happened before. This is not good and I can't really, maybe I can glue it on actually. How annoying. Let's add a little bit of glue here and stick it back on. We'll see how well glitter glue really holds. So I'm just going to glue these together and I'm just going to glue them on the edges. There's no need to put any glue in the middle. You could also do this with double-sided tape. I have difficulty with that because then there's no wiggle room and these don't fit perfectly, so we'll just cut the white edge off afterwards. So I'll do the same for the other 2. And it's probably worth double checking before you glue them that they are both right side up. That would be annoying if we glue one of them upside down. And it would totally make sense to glue them together first and then ink them up, because now when I have to cut some of the edges off, I need to re-ink them anyway. So now we can attach the fabric to our cards. I have this little bowl. I got a comment about this recently. A viewer asking, what is this? And this is just hardened glue. This was from, I think, some sort of ice cream. So I always use this. I'm just using tacky glue. And since it's too thick to spread like that, I'm going to water it down. I'll just use my dirty brush water and a flat brush. I always use the same brush for glue. We want to join these two. Let's thin this down. And add some on the edge here. Take our fabric. Then I like to take a piece of cloth and get rid of any of the glue that is seeping out from underneath, because that would become glossy. And then we do the same thing on the other card. And connect the two. This is a great way to connect any single pages you might have. I wouldn't do it with anything too flimsy, but I think like regular copy paper will be fine. And the reason why I like doing this with fabric rather than paper strips is because the fabric makes it so easy to flip the page because it's so soft. It's very different than using a strip of paper. So then I just turn it around and do the same thing on the back side. I am not adding glue to the fabric because that would make it stiff and I don't want that. So I'll just add it to the edge of my paper as before. Wait, this is short. Why is this short? Why are these all short? It's not short. Why does it seem so short? Okay, this is very strange. I don't know why this piece now is shorter than the other one, because I actually measured them to be the same. So we have one double page and I'll do the same thing for the other two. So these are all attached now and they have also dried in the meantime. Let's put these to the side and I'll decide how I want to fold this once I know how wide this can be. And in the meantime, these other papers have dried. So I want to add a little bit more stamping to some of these. For example, on this one, I'm going to use some of these cute birds by Dinah Wakely and Ranger. They're called Scribbly Small Birds MDR 50414. And I'm going to use black archival ink. They are so adorable. Oh, haha. Okay, I meant him to stand upright, but this is actually quite cute as well. And then we can just fold all of our papers. We'll use my little vintage iron to crease them. Obviously, you can use a bone folder or a ruler. So let's arrange them into signatures. I found it helpful to put each kind of paper together in a stack. I want one of these to be the first page. Let's take this one. Then we can add like a more neutral one. Then one of the ones from the kit. and one of these coffee dyed papers, and one more from here. Let's take this one. See, that's not good. It's too much of the same. Do this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. For the next one, I'm not taking one of these as a first page because they would be back. Well, actually I could, because the back is not one of these. Okay, perfect. So let's take this one and one of these. One of these. It's 3, 4, and 5. No, that's weird as a middle page. Let's do 4 and 5. And yeah, actually, we need to add one more to the first one, and we'll add 2 of these in the last one, and only the middle one has one of these. I remember now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the middle one, and the first one gets another one of these. So the middle one has one less than the other 2, which is totally fine. So 1, 2, and for this one, we can now fold this. How about that? So there's 3 signatures. Let's do a quick flip through to see what it looks like when it's all together. Is it diverse enough? Do they need more page decorations? Obviously, we're going to be adding ephemera and probably clusters. Other embellishments. Does it have a good flow? So I don't like these 2 together. It's too much the same. So I'll have to switch this with another one. Can take this dark one. Yeah, that's better. Love these 2 together. Love this one being smaller than this one, but the colors matching. Oh, that's beautiful as well together. Yep, that works better. So in part 2, we'll be adding page decorations and ephemera, as well as figuring out a cover for this. I hope you join me next week. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.